Ford sales completely ruined by dealers. So apparently Ford sales are down. Apparently yards are completely filled. Bigger inventory at dealers than ever before. And well, the market is completely crashing and it is absolutely the worst time to buy a vehicle because, well, it's just completely over. Dealers screwed everyone and no one is buying cars. Well, that is unfortunately the sad truth of my YouTube feed these days. And I want to talk about the real deal. So I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. I like to use data and, well, facts to cover the news. Same thing when I review vehicles. I like to have a very general perspective on things and look at the pros and the cons. Everything in life is balanced, but these days the news certainly is not balanced. So let's go over to my YouTube feed here and look at the type of covers we've got. We've got Ford dealers screwed truck buyers. Now they're paying. So apparently it's over. Apparently dealers can't sell Broncos and dealers can't sell Lightnings. We'll go over to my feed here. Let's actually talk about the facts of sales numbers and production numbers, cover what's really going on. But apparently dealers are crumbling over here. Mind you, Car Edge, fantastic place to know how to buy, shop a vehicle. And thankfully there are some really good news sources like Pickup Truck and SUV Talk, Tim Ave over at All Terrain Nation, Tim Bartz. We've got some good guys, Ray and Zach, but a lot of negative feed saying that, you know, Ford is ruined. Ford probably gets picked on the most because they have the highest number of popular vehicles. I was so frustrated. I guess my Johnny's Car Care and Reviews sign fell off the wall. I was off the hinges and so was the channel's sign. So let's just go over some of the things that have been getting said and get to the bottom of this. I want to deal with, you know, the facts. I don't want anyone getting fooled. Last year, throughout the entire year, most YouTube channels were saying it was the worst time to buy because prices had gone up. And it was actually an incredible time to buy because interest rates were low. Prices on, let's say, a new pickup truck at one point had only gone up by a couple $1,000s, and the trades were worth about almost around 30% more. A $35,000 truck regular trade was worth about $45,000, about an extra $10,000 when you're talking the mid $30,000 range. So 89% down according to Aubrey Janik on her thumbnail. Ford crash is coming. So Ben Hardy says February was a disaster for customers and car dealers. It's his title, and is also saying that the Lightning is not selling. I enjoy Ben Hardy, great guy, but that's just not the case. The Lightning sales are way up. Bronco sales are right up. So when Motor Feed says dealers can't sell Broncos, Motor Feed is wrong. Dealers absolutely can sell Broncos. Now the Broncos that are stuck at dealers are trade-ins or, you know, auction Broncos that dealers paid way too much for and are now asking way too much for. Those are the ones that they're stuck with, used ones that were if they bought them incorrectly. But as far as new Broncos, those things are selling because Bronco sales numbers for February are way up. Way up. We'll get to the numbers in just a moment, so you'll want to, you know, wait, watch to then, because I'm going to cover all the facts. We're going to get to the numbers. You know, I've got them all ready for us to look at. And yes, there were some huge price increases for 2023. You know, my personal Bronco that I had bought as a 2021 is now, unfortunately, $10,000 more to end up with the same Bronco that I had on the channel back in September 2021. So let's cover some of these, you know, do a little BS busting together. So Motor Feed said at the 1335 second mark in that video that no one is buying F-150 trucks and that the percentage rate is at 8%. Not the case. You can even have in some situations in the States, you can have 0% on an F-150 if you're paying that quickly enough. So far from the truth. He also said that Ford dealers have more inventory than ever because no one is buying. So disaster basically kind of gives you the idea if you wait a little, you're going to get these things for next to nothing. That's not the case. Dealer lots have, yes, more vehicles than they've had, you know, from 2022 when dealer lots were bone dry and empty, but they are not anywhere near the numbers they had back in 2018, 2019. Also at 4:25-minute mark in the motor feed video, that 3 million people are going to end up, or more, are going to end up watching this video. And unfortunately, only a select few of you are actually going to get the real deal, the actual information, and a good idea of whether it's a good time for you to buy, to shop or not. So I want to sort that out. I want to answer these questions for you. I want to continue to work for you. So at the 4:25-minute mark in his video, he called out Jim Farley saying dealers would face consequences. So he had that quote. And then he goes on to say that dealers didn't face any consequences. None were punished. Well, this type of incorrect information bothers me because we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people's jobs. If you get everyone completely turned against Ford and frustrated and angry at Ford, you rile up the mob. Yeah, you get to have your 3-4 million view video, you make some money, you're sitting pretty, but what about the hundreds of thousands of jobs that Ford provides? You think Ford had SK Battery Company, a Chinese company, and got them to build a factory in the United States. Usually jobs leave us for China, whereas Ford's bringing a Chinese company, making them create jobs here. So when you're going to say something bad about someone, I'd say there's two really important criteria. One, make sure it needs to be said. Does it serve a purpose saying it? And two, make sure it's absolutely bulletproof true. So the reality behind this is dealers, Jim Farley did put systems in place and dealers were punished. So first of all, you've got name match at Ford. That means when a dealer, if they put in a confirmed enrolled order, they're providing the customer's driver's license, assigned by the dealer and client, purchase or lease agreement that shows the interest rate and the price. So that's to help avoid selling over markup. When the vehicle actually shows up as a customer, you need to hold on to that sheet with the dealer's signature because it says what price and interest rate you're going to be paying. So important tip right there for shopping, because there are good deals to be had. You just need to know how to shop and how to get that good deal. Now, if the dealer doesn't match up with the order name, so name match means you order in someone's name, it needs to be delivered in that person's name. If you don't deliver in that person's name, for a lot of models like the Lightning, the dealer will be punished by getting one less model. So you lose a client, or you make up a client, and you sell to someone else with markup. Guess what? You're getting one less vehicle. You're punished. And for dealers that follow the rules and don't lose very many clients, you get extra vehicles. My local dealer got a lot of extra pickups last year because two instances where they got about an extra 50 pickups in two different instances, so about an extra 100 vehicles because they followed the rules. They didn't have charge markups and they delivered to the people they ordered for. So dealers were rewarded, dealers are punished, and you know what's great? If the dealer plays in the most fair way, let's say you lose a customer because you lose a buyer because they don't pass for credit, or their plans have changed. Their used vehicle broke down. They had to buy something immediately. Well, good news is if the dealer then takes someone from the reservation list, from the waiting list, and provides them with that vehicle at the price that client was originally supposed to pay, Ford won't punish you with one loss inventory, one loss future allotment, which is great. Ford's encouraging dealers to have a canceled order get passed on to someone who's already on the waiting list at the right price. Then they don't punish you by taking away an extra vehicle. So Ford's definitely worked to get, they don't want over markups. It's not giving them an extra cent. It's only ruining their reputation, and very much unfairly. So I want to put that very, very clear. Ford also has a process of what's called turn and earn. The faster you turn over vehicles, so take them in and sell them, the more vehicles you're going to earn from Ford. So Ford's giving more vehicles to dealers that don't have vehicles sitting on the lots. Which dealers have vehicles sitting around on the lots for a whole bunch of days? Dealers that are trying to overcharge. Now, of course, if dealers in the last 2 years hadn't overcharged, well, then I would hope that they offer it to customers who are already on the wait list, as Ford intended. But if they do mark them up, in the long run, they're getting less vehicles. Now, some dealers felt justified marking up these vehicles because if they didn't mark them up, who would buy them? Well, CarMax, Carvana, people who were going to flip these vehicles. So they'd buy at MSRP, and trust me, they were burning out sales staff, dealership staff. They were completely burning them out. My nonstop phone calls all day. Do you have any Broncos? Do you have any Mavericks? Come on, you must have some, and really trying to push to get that inventory, because they want to flip them and sell them to actual customers at a huge markup. So one way or another, there are going to be markups unless the dealer did what Ford instructed, call people on the waiting list and have that vehicle passed on to someone on the waiting list. So Ford did implement some important procedures. Dealers are individual businesses, and they have the choice to play, smart and fair, or some dealers did screw over customers, and that's unfortunate, but that's not on Ford's back, and it's actually all manufacturers had this problem if they had popular models that people were looking for and low inventory. Now, Motor Feed also bothers me because he went on to say that the dealer who went on to was, dishonest and shady. That's the gist of what was being said at the 11 minute and 4 second mark in his video. But earlier in the video at 8 minutes 30, said that the salesman had told him that available Lightnings and Raptors were over MSRP, and also said prior in the video at the 7 minute and 54 second mark that the dealership's website actually had the window stickers. So he in his own video earlier on, he showed that it was very evident and obvious and well explained that the Lightning and Raptor, if available, would be over MSRP. So how can you be dishonest and hide something that is openly told and shown? So anyways, I don't know what happened. Must have been a emotional reaction instead of a factual, logical reaction to what's been going on. And what's been going on, it is frustrating. Prices on vehicles are rising, especially trucks, because trucks now are what luxury vehicles were in, the 80s and 90s and 2000s. They're the hot item, and they're going up in price because more and more people are starting to realize, like myself, I'd rather a really well-equipped pickup than a Mercedes. An F-150 Lightning is unbelievably comfortable, and I would be hard-pressed to find a vehicle more comfortable than that. The comfort level is that of a Lincoln Aviator. I'm extremely impressed. And it accelerates like a Porsche 911 S. So the thing is crazy fast, unbelievably comfortable, and has a great low center of gravity. So it's actually really fun in the bendies. Pretty fun actually in the snow to kind of drift around and have that back end slide out. Now let's talk about actual numbers. Here's the truth, the real deal. So we've done a lot of BS busting now. Let's cover the real deal. Yes, my Bronco from 2021 has gone up 10,000. Yes, the F-150 from early 2022 to now, 12 months later, has gone up basically $10,000 Canadian. So that must be about a $6,000, $7,000 price increase over in the States. But are dealers ruining Ford, and are these price increases ruining Ford? It's definitely making it so that the middle class is having a whole lot of trouble buying these vehicles. But we're not in a situation where Ford is in a ton of trouble. So let's look at these numbers. Ford's sales actually rose 22% year over year from February 23 compared to February 22. And actually, a lot of this is because there's a healthy flow of new vehicle inventory that's showing up at dealers. So yes, there's more vehicles on lots showing up, but the actual inventory actually decreased in February compared to just a few months ago. So let's talk more about sales numbers because they're pretty interesting. Ford sold 157,606 vehicles last month, up from 129,273 in February 2022. In the first 2 months of the year, sales are up 11.4%. Now, that means the Bronco, we saw the tag earlier, apparently, according to Motor Feed, dealers can't sell Broncos. Odd, because from a year ago, sales on the big Bronco are up 111%. Bronco Sport sales are down, and that's I hope they can actually see those go down even more, because the less Bronco Sports they make, the more Mavericks they can make. Now the EcoSport, forget that stat. The EcoSport, it's done. The Edge, it's down. Well, because there's talk of either it being canceled altogether or a new model replacing it. Same thing for the Escape, new models replacing it. So any manufacturer, when they've announced a new model, guess what? Sales of the current model go down. Expedition up 124%. That's huge. Explorer up 100%. Huge. F-Series up 21%. Not look at the GT. Heavy trucks up 17%. The Maverick up 89.45%. So that's huge increase. And the Maverick, they can sell endless amounts of these. The Maverick is the new middle class truck. It's the people's champion. I'm loving it because it's not just an affordable truck. It's fun to drive. It's comfortable. It's good, if not great looking. You know, when the Maverick first came out, I said, you know, I predict that the new Ford Ranger is going to be a mix between Maverick and F-150. That's what we got, folks. So I'm also a fan of the new Ranger. So Ranger sales are going to pick up once we get that new model over here in our market. The Mustang up 5.5%. The Mach-E is down basically 11% here, and that makes sense because they've actually had to basically slow down, stop production of the Mach-E to expand on the factory so that they can have more future production. In reality, Mustang Mach-E demand is extremely high. Very good news in regards to that model. Ranger down, of course, new model coming along. The Transit up almost 150%. Huge, huge, huge. So Ford overall, when you look at all the pros, ups and downs, they're up 22.78%. So basically 23% year over year. And they're also up month over month. February sales were better than January sales. And things are going well at Ford right now. And does that mean they're going to continue to go well? Well, I'll be here to talk about that. I'm worried that the increased, I think what we're going to see in the future is gasoline-powered F-150 sales go down as electric EV sale trucks go way, way up. So I think that's a reality that unfortunately has to happen because of CAFE rules. They need to bring it up to 50 miles per gallon. So big vehicles that take a lot of gas, they need to bring volume on those models down and volume on models like the electric way up. I talked more about that recently in my past videos, so I hope you can catch that. But hybrid sales at Ford were up 33%. Even gas engines right now, they're up 20.5% from a year ago. So really inventory, it's also a very strong sales month. So inventory actually went down a little bit at dealerships. So it's actually pretty impressive. Now Ford did really well. Honda actually is down 1.4%. So quite a big difference from Ford being up 22%. Toyota went down 2.4%. So it's not all great news for the automobile market. There are some areas where it's down, but Kia and Hyundai actually up 16% at the Hyundai Motor Group. So pretty impressive increases also by Kia and Hyundai. So is it all, you know, doom and gloom? Well, if you look at YouTube, yes, absolutely. Is that accurate? No, not at all. 2022 was an amazing time to buy. Most YouTube channels wait 3 months, 2-3 months because, you know, prices were gonna crash, and I kept saying prices are gonna go up. I wanted to feed you the right information, and right now I'm starting to think that maybe coming up this summer, sales will slow a little. If that does happen, I don't expect any major rebates. I expect interest rates maybe to come down slightly come summer or fall. But heck, even Lincoln is up. The Lincoln brand is up 4% in sales, and Maverick up 89%. It's crazy. Ford had a very strong sales month, and year over year, extremely. And everything on the YouTube scene, you know, you got YouTube channels saying that Toyota's done within a couple of years, that Ford is done within a year or two. That's not the case, folks. I want to bring you the real news. Subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'm here for you. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, and I appreciate that you've been with me here now for a couple of years. So jump on in, join the community. We're a community that helps each other out. So until next time, I do wish you all more cars and or more power. Take care, subscribe, help feed those poodles, and see you on our Monday Night Live. We're going to go off-roading on the Outer Banks beach, and some would say it's a little windy, I would say. So join us for our videos of off-roading on the Outer Banks.